Hey Annie, hey everyone. Can you hear me? Do you hear me over my laptop's incredibly loud fans? That's one of my main priorities early on. I have a bit of a sketchy setup at the moment, struggling to have my the chat on my pad beside me, but it seems to be working. Okay, okay, the whole thing collapsed. It was okay 3 minutes ago, and then now it's not so okay. And also, feel like I should have figured out how to do some settings on my pad so that it doesn't go turn off on power saving mode every 2 minutes. But here we are. Can't even hear the fans. That's good. Thank you for the feedback, Coco. Um, I'm in Bergen. I'm doing coverage with a Norwegian broadcaster, TV2, for the Steinitz Memorial that was held this weekend, and where Magnus won in the final day. Not a spectacular score, 12 out of 18. But it was just such a closely contested field that everyone beat everyone. And Magnus managed to get 2 points more than the closest rivals. Dubov was actually leading going into the final day, but I think he actually lost three in a row to start off the final day, and then Magnus kind of just coasted to victory. Nice to see the eagle again. Yes, Chris. If you haven't already, check me out on Instagram. I have posted a picture of this eagle you can see in the background. The hotel I'm staying at in Bergen is called the Eagle. And in every single bedroom, they have this amazing wall art um, with an eagle over every single bed, which is kind of intimidating or kind of, cute, depending on how you feel about eagles. And it's really really neat because there's like lighting that in the background of it right now, and when you switch off the lights, basically you cannot see anything. So it's a really really cool thing, and they have it in every single room. Hey Drotas, how are you doing? Are you sure you're in Bergen? It doesn't rain in your hotel room. Well, I don't know if you can tell. You probably can. The entirety of my left side of my face is just enjoying the sunlight. I closed some of the shades, but I needed some natural light in the room. And it's just a very nice sunny day in Bergen. I was out walking earlier. It's just a fantastic day. Are they all the same or are there different eagles? That is, Mr. Useless, kind of a useless question, but a very interesting one, and something I had not considered in the past. Mm, I don't think it's the same eagle. I think they have different motives in different rooms. But honestly, I am intrigued and I am unsure. I may go down to reception after the stream and ask. How warm is it in Bergen these days? Maj, it's not super warm, but that doesn't prevent the weather from being nice. When you're from Norway, you learn that there's no such thing as cold weather. There's only bad clothing. But as long as there's sunlight, we're pretty happy. It's I think it's like 8 degrees Celsius. Hey Bergen. Speaking of Bergen, how are you doing? Okay, so my plan for the stream today, I might actually play some games. because I made an effort. I don't know if you noticed, but this is not my normal setup. I had to do it all from scratch on my laptop, but I think it turned out pretty nice. And so I made a gameplay thing, and I made a fantasy chess thing, and it's looking pretty good. So the plan is playing some games and doing the fantasy selections, because there's a new tournament coming up. We finished the Steinitz Blitz Memorial yesterday. Magnus won it on the Norwegian Constitution Day. Everyone celebrated, lots of Norwegian flags. It was a good day. But now, tomorrow, we have a new tournament starting, the Magnus Rapid Challenge. So we really need to get a move on in making our fantasy team selections, where, of course, I am one of the big pre-tournament fantasy favorites, having been the number one famous effing legend from the Chess 24 team in the Magnus Invitational. I have a reputation to live up to, and knowing how bad I am at making decisions, I'm actually thinking that we're gonna start with the fantasy selections and then see how much time we have left to play some blitz chess. Because as I remember it, I actually spent 2 hours on it last time in the Magnus Invitational, and I don't regret it for a second because I did really well and I had some really good selections. Hey Marius, how are you doing? Sick piece of art on the wall. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I even posted on my Instagram. I post on my Instagram like 6 times a year, max. I think last year I posted once or twice for the entire year. But I decided that this eagle deserves to uh, to sit on my Instagram feed. Sound is a little delayed. That Can someone confirm that? Because if it is on my end, it seems incredibly small, so little that it's not worth getting into the technical details of my laptop streaming while traveling. Very slightly out of sync. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother about that. It's not worth. Social media guy confirmed. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the thing about Instagram is that it's very intimidating how people create these perfect feeds of like every picture is beautiful, and I cannot live up to that standard, yet I try sometimes. So I will not post just anything out there. Yes. So, fantasy chess. That is the start. Since I'm on my laptop, I have trouble switching between windows. So that means I may have forgotten to create a link for the fantasy chess team selection page. So if someone in chat could find the link, that would be much appreciated. Regardless, this is it. The fantasy contest for the tournament that shall in Norway be known as Magnus Carlsen Rapid Challenge, but has a different name if you watch international broadcasts for reasons we will not get into. And I hope I'm not getting banned from the for advertising illegal stuff right now. I'm gonna scroll down just in case. We'll scroll down here to remove all the evidence of any sort of alcohol related incidents. Maybe you can connect to the hotel room TV. Honestly, that's a pretty interesting idea, Bergen. But as with the 0.2 second delay on sound, that is the kind of thing that should have been done in advance. Okay, Marius, honestly, can you help me out with the link to give it to everyone? Because I'm kind of stuck. I can't find the link on my iPad. Just go on chess24.com, the front page, and then one of the very recent news items is the fantasy contest, or there's also an advertisement for the fantasy contest on the right hand side. Either one will do. I have been drinking Keep Your Cool, but not the kind of stuff you're referring to. My trusted chocolate milk, as always, and water. Evening, Rekorj. How are you doing? Okay. The overall contest. Can you read this, by the way? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yeah, you are. The overall contest needs to be filled out prior to the start of play. There will be a prize. The first prize is a $200 voucher for our shop. Could have been more generous there, I feel. And the second prize will receive $100. If the winners are Chess24 Premium members, they will also receive a 60-minute private session with Pascal Charbonneau. Wow. That's a big name right there. They probably asked Jan, "Can you do a 60-hour, 60-minute private lesson with someone?" And Jan said no. And then now you're stuck with Pascal. He's pretty good though. How is it gross? Attaculation. It is very, very tasty. That I agree with. How well have they hidden that link? Marius, right now I'm questioning your ability to search stuff. You can't find it? Oh, wow. Marius, you got beat. Bergen got your number. Yeah, that's it, Marius. It cannot have that name in Norway for legal reasons. Okay, fill out your username, Hammer. Yeah, so if you didn't catch it, Bergen posted the link to this fantasy chess forum in Twitch chat. I am unable to follow Chess24 chat if anyone's there. I cannot see you. I do not have second and third monitors to help me out. The only thing I managed to get up on my pad is Twitch chat. If you want to participate in the conversation, you can go there. It's twitch.tv/gmjlh. Oh man, Marius, I tricked you into searching for the wrong things. Feels bad. Okay, so we got our username. It's Hammer. Then we have a look at the participants, which is worth a moment in itself. So Magnus Ding, Nakamura, and Ferrugia are returning players. But then the rest of the field is completely new. So four guys got kicked out, um, and eight new players coming in, including the last place finisher of the Blitz tournament, sensationally, uh, three-time World Blitz champion Alexander Grischuk, finishing last in the Steinitz Memorial Blitz tournament that finished yesterday. We have Levon Aronian back playing. We got Wesley, we got Duda, we got Sergey Karyakin, we got the Chinese Wonderkind, Wei Yi. We have Dubov, who was the guy closest to challenging Magnus in the previous tournament. And we have Yu Yang Yi, who I believe did really, really well in the chess.com nations thingy. So I mean, two of the lowest rated players here, Dubov and Yang Yi, are the on form guys. So really, really interesting field. Yeah, it's pretty unhealthy. Now we hear the fan. Yeah, it's unavoidable, unfortunately, Coco. I bought this computer and it was kind of it was supposed to be top of the line, but it meant that I also bought it before everyone had reviewed it properly. And after the fact, everyone's just saying the CPU is horrible because it's making way too much noise. Um, and yeah, I'm kind of stuck with the purchase I made, but I'm not happy with it. And so I'm also pretty conscious of the fan noise because I feel like it shouldn't be like this. But what are we gonna do? How was your fantasy for Steinitz? I don't actually know, Bergen. I haven't figured out where to check the results. It feels like they didn't really um, do the Steinitz fantasy as well with the result updates and stuff like that as they did the Magnus Invitational. You think Levon will do really good? That's interesting calculation because I feel like Levon doesn't play on the internet very often, and this field is so ridiculously strong that someone has to finish last. I'm seriously considering putting Levon pretty far down. Sakahi, thank you so much for the happy wishes. I'm back in my hometown. I was actually born in Bergen, but yeah. It's not about changing the fan, Rick Wish. I'm pretty sure that's the wrong logic. The fan is working completely fine. It's just that it turns on too soon, no? Did you do something fun yesterday? Yeah, I was invited to a party at my bosses slash colleagues home. So that was pretty fun. It's his 60th birthday tomorrow, so it was kind of celebrating 17th of May, the Norwegian National Day, and at the same time celebrating his birthday. Oh, so changing the fan is actually a thing? I didn't think the fan itself was the issue. I thought it's the CPU that overclocks and becomes too heated compared to what it needed to be. But now with so many people saying the same thing, I'm starting to question some things. Especially since every time I say something technical, I'm basically just doing guesswork. Is it controversial to pick Naka to win and Naka to play second? Actually, I have a strategy here, Marius. I have a strategy. Instead of starting with who's gonna win the tournament, I'm gonna actually scroll down because I cheated a little bit, and I noticed that they're asking about who's going to be eliminated in the semifinals, who's going to be eliminated in the quarterfinals, who's going to be eliminated in the preliminary stages. They're basically asking us to pick every single placement of the players. So, in order to do that, you need to have I feel like you should have some coherency in your choices. So we're gonna scroll way down and start out with who is going to be eliminated in the preliminary stages. Is that your biggest fan? I don't think so, Georges, actually. But, you know. I hope Levon does well, says Chigas. Yeah, no, I really hope Levon does well yeah, does well as well. Horrible language. But it's such a tough field. I mean, having had that tournament just recently where Grischuk ended in the last place, and in the last Magnus tournament, MVL ended in the last place. It's just you cannot trust normalcy. You have to expect the unexpected. Where can you play this, Murlog? Someone, if you ask nicely in chat, they're gonna give you the link um, to the document. What do you work on? I'm doing chess commentary for a Norwegian broadcaster, Archon. Yes, Marius, my boss slash colleague, turning 60 years is Finn. Who's sponsoring the tour? I cannot say that out loud, I think, since I'm in Norway. Go to chess24.com. You'll figure it out, Sakariasen. $250 IQ. Coherency isn't always a good head strategy. Yeah, that's true, Marius. But I think it makes sense still to do first place last, and first kind of think about who you're gonna pick as losers, because there's gonna be some people who have good value for getting knocked out early, um, and then that may shape who you choose is gonna do well after. Grischuk played two tournaments at the same time this weekend. Yeah, I saw that, Bergen. I'm starting to think maybe he shouldn't have done that. I know it's shocking, but I'm having that feeling. Okay, I'm closing my Skype, so we're not going to get that Skype sound again. My apologies to those of you immediately checking work stuff, as always. Yeah, Murlog Marius has posted the link in chat. So if you follow Marius's link, that's gonna show you the form to submit your fantasy chess team. Okay, who's gonna be eliminated in the preliminary stages? Choose 4 players. 4 players. I'm not going with Yu Yang Yi. I think he's too strong. Yes, Attaculation. I'm doing commentary in Bergen with TV2. Use exclamation point TV2 for more information. Dvertus believes Grischuk did not impress in these tournaments. Yeah. I'm not very impressed with him. Also, I'm not sure about Wesley on the internet. I mean, he's good. I think Magnus, Hikaru, and Ding, based on what we've seen from them, they're gonna do well. We know them from before. We've seen them in this time format. They have some experience. I believe in them. I think you did really well in the chess.com tournament, which was, I think, without increment or something. But I don't know. I have some faith in you, and I have some faith in Duda. I'm considering something like Wesley Grischuk. Definitely Y. I'm not sure about him. And honestly, maybe we go for Ruja again. But no, I don't want to go for Ruja because I think his experience with the format is gonna pay off. And Dubov's experience now with playing on Chess 24 is also gonna work in his favor. I think some players are gonna have trouble. It's interesting that Karyakin only gives 10 points. Because, I mean, I kind of want to go for Karyakin, but at the same time, he's a world championship contender, or was in the past. It's a bit rough thinking he's going to get knocked out. But regardless who gets knocked out, it's going to be someone strong. The winner has had Grischuk in the last place for 200 points. Yeah, I kind of got that, Bergen. With Grischuk finishing last place, someone was going to get that. A lot of points for that. If Magnus gets eliminated in the preliminaries, the fantasy is essentially over. Well, it depends on how many picks Magnus, Marius. But let me tell you that our chess broadcasts will not be the same without Magnus making it through. You have no idea how happy we were, Marius, when Magnus managed to turn around the match against Ding and win it. Because that was huge for our viewership numbers on Sunday, I think. The time control is 15 plus 10, Marius, as Attaculation says. What about Duda? I think Duda is strong, Sakaki. Karyakin has 2-3 kids at home. That counts against him. The Ataman. I like your cynicism. I very much like your cynicism. We're going with Karyakin. Grischuk also with kids at home. I think the only thing I'm considering is switching Grischuk with Arunyan. I think for people who have never played on Chess 24 before, this is going to feel a bit weird. Also, Yu Yang Yi is playing from China, which is, they're playing in the middle of the night, and on VPN connections, so that's definitely tricky for him. But on the other hand, Ding did so well last time. I really underestimated Ding for the previous tournament because basically I was just saying, oh, the Chinese are not going to do well, and then he crushed everyone. You would go with Dubov for 40 points. Steve Eyes, the guy, Dubov just made second place in a Blitz tournament, and he's a former Rapid world champion. I'm not gonna go with Dubov. Dubov already proved himself in Blitz, and he's a world champion in Rapid. But yeah, I see your point. 40 points is tempting, but I, I'm not sure who I would choose instead. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm pretty happy with these selections. Yeah, that's true. Sergey's kids are probably well taken care of. But even so, yeah, maybe we should go with someone other than Sergey. But I don't know who else. I guess Levon for 40 points. Yeah, these 10-point picks are not actually, yeah, we need to be more cynical about our picks because we get to choose four. So maybe we're making a huge mistake selecting anyone that has 10 points. Because it's more valuable for us to hit someone that gives us 4 times as many points. Maybe this is the selection to make. And then just hope you hit a couple of them. But Blitz is different than Rapid? Yes, it is, Steve Eyes. Which is why I'm saying he's a Rapid world champion. And yet he performed in Blitz. I'm not going to bet against Dubov in the category where he actually is a world champion. Although actually now I did do that, but that's for that it's for good reason. It's because I was trying to go for value now. Hikaru has been coaching 600 rated players on stream. Can't be good for his chess. I agree with that, Marius, but at the same time, you know, he has the experience with playing this tournament already. He knows more about what to expect. I feel like that's gonna work pretty well for him. But yeah, he's exhausting himself. He's spending so many hours streaming chess on Twitch. At some point, it's gotta affect his results, you'd think. He's basically been working 8 hours every day for a month straight. No, I'm not doing Ding, Marius. Ding is too good, too solid. Didn't lose a single game last time. Since it's an online tournament, isn't there any chance to cheat? Yes. But why do you say that's only possible in online tournaments, Sakaki? It's that the same applies for any tournament, any event, any sport, really. It's always possible to cheat. 100 points, just saying? No, I'm not going for the 100 points, Marius. 8 hours a day? Insane. Well, Marius, don't make fun. I mean, yeah. No, yeah, I guess in the US you don't even work 8 hour days as in Norway. You work like 10-hour days instead. Okay, but he's been having long days without any break. And also kind of there's a difference between having like a desk job and actually kind of exposing yourself to the world every day. I don't know. I feel like that. There is some you lose some energy by having to put on a performance of sorts. Everyone is a little bit different on camera than off. Wesley has knocked the rust off. Has he though, Dvertus? I seem to remember him getting destroyed in the final of the chess.com tournament. Wasn't it Wesley that just got annihilated by Yu Yang Yi? Because it's easier to cheat in online? Yeah, sure. But just because it's easier. I mean, people are so obsessed with cheating in these online tournaments while they're not usually in the over the board tournaments. I find that if you're so obsessed with cheating, I don't understand why you're only bringing it up now. The number one reason there's not cheating is not because it's easy. It's because it's wrong. It, it would be very easy to cheat over the board. People don't do it because it's not possible. They do it because it's wrong. Well, they don't do it because it's wrong. Sotebraga coming in with the 2 year anniversary. Did we have the thunder? I don't think we had the thunder, but thank you so much. Happy anniversary. 2 years. You don't like the Levon pick? Yeah, maybe not. But I'm not doing it because I think he's gonna lose. I'm doing it because someone's gonna lose and he's giving me a lot of points. So if I have like Bai Yi and Firuja, that's 30 points. So I mean, I feel it. If I think it's like 30% likely that Levon is not gonna make the top eight, whereas I find it 50% likely that Bailly is not gonna make it to the top eight. You should always go for the value. So I'm going for the people who give the most points, um, and who don't have experience with this tournament already. Because I was impressed with Magnus, Hikaru, and Ding in the previous event. So I'm not going for them. I'm going for the tier below them. What have you been missing? We're just doing our fantasy chess team selections, Eddie. If you ask nicely in chat, someone will post the link for you to make your submission as well. Hey Nail, how are you doing? 10 pointers are not worth it. Duda and Faruja are underrated. Thank you, GZ. Thank you for some support. I like it. You guys were not going to talk me out of this, to be honest. I'm pretty happy. I feel like we've made considered choices here. Um, so once I get a single person expressing their support in chat, we're gonna move on. That's how it works. Why not picking Ali Reza? Because he's a good player at calculation, and he didn't give too many points compared to how good he is. So Ali Reza was 20 points, and I don't think Ali Reza is any worse than say Aronian and Grischuk, especially the form Grischuk showed. I might be wrong, but this is where you can make your own selections, people. You don't have to make the same selections I do. You just get to hear my reasoning for making the picks I do. Did you not see a run in the Nations Cup? Actually, Eddie, I did not. A lot of people have been talking about how Aronian was unbelievably good. But he's never played on Chess 24. That might affect him a little bit. I don't know. I'm mostly picking him because of the points, not because I think he's a bad player. Okay, who will be eliminated in the quarterfinals? So basically, here, the situation turns around. The people who had very low amount of points in the early stages, they are now getting a decent amount of points for this round. So your Yu Yangis, your Wei Yis, your Karyakins, your Dudas. Suddenly, these guys are the value picks for this category. Thank you, Chopin. Thank you, Sphinx. Yeah, I'm hoping for success for him as well, Eddie. Okay, who will be eliminated in the quarterfinals? So let's think about. You know what? Actually, here I'm gonna turn around again. Here I'm gonna think about the semifinals first. This is a bit weird, but hear me out. There's going to be four people in the semifinals. So if I determine who those four people might be, it's going to help me out for who's going to remain. No, I changed my mind again. Okay. What about the quarterfinals? Who's going to be eliminated? Choose four people. Here we're getting viewer points. Yeah, I think for my head to work properly, I'm gonna have to think a bit about who who I think is gonna make it into the semifinal. So I think Magnus, Hikaru, and Ding I think these guys are gonna make it. So I'm kind of saying, yeah, I've decided I'm not gonna select these guys. And then we have one more guy who's gonna make it to the semifinals. But other than that, everyone is the rest of the field is pretty capable of losing in the quarterfinal. Because other than those top three, what I should consider is not who's going to be the fourth guy in the semifinal. What I should consider is who's going to get knocked out or who are more likely to get knocked out in the preliminary stages. So now I need to think about who do I genuinely think is going to be knocked out in the preliminaries. And if I manage to get those selections correct, then I can focus on who the rest of the picks in that group is for value. Wei Yi and Yu Yang Yi seems like solid picks. GC, I don't think Wei Yi is going to make it through the preliminaries. But yeah, I agree. Yu Yang Yi is a solid pick. I'm not sure Wei Yi is going to make it. So who was I saying I had doubts about? I had doubts about Wesley, about Grischuk, about Wei Yi, and who was my final guy? Wesley, Grischuk, Wei Yi, and I think maybe I had Karyakin. So I feel like the way I've my thinking has gone so far, I think Alireza, I think Duda, and Yang Yi, I think all of these guys are gonna make it through to the quarterfinal. And the problem is they may end up winning their quarterfinal. But in the event they do not, actually, we should consider having either Hikaru or Ding as a loser here as well. Because remember, the selections, the pairings for the quarterfinals will depend on your result in the preliminary tournament. And so, if we get a situation where Hikaru is number 4 or 5. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I think Magnus, Nakamura, and Ding, they're all going to be top 4 in the preliminaries. And in doing so, they will avoid having to play each other in the quarterfinal. Dubov? Yeah, maybe Dubov. Dubov to semis? Honestly, I'm thinking you to semifinals. Um, but for 40 points, I feel like I kind of have to go for him. I think we're going to say we're hoping Sergey makes it to the quarterfinals. Maybe I'm underestimating Wei Yi. I might be seriously underestimating Wei Yi. Maybe we do this. Or maybe we do this. Basically just going for the maximum amount of points. Karyakin is a strong match player. Yeah, but Wei Yi is pretty solid. So the thing about the first stage is that you play 12 players play and 4 players are eliminated. The top 8 remains, which means in the preliminary round, scoring an equal, basically just sitting there making draws is going to qualify you to the quarterfinal. And I feel like Wei Yi is pretty solid. He can make a lot of draws. The question is kind of like who's going to tilt. This preliminary stage is going to be so exciting. It's going to be so close between number 8 and number 12. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like 1 point between them, between qualifying to the quarterfinal and finishing in the last place. You is so underrated. Yeah, I agree, Eddie. Kaya, this is for the Magnus Rapid Challenge starting tomorrow, being broadcast on TV2. It's the second in the series of tournaments known as the Magnus Tour. Would you beat Magnus or Hikaru? How is that relevant, Chris? Are you thinking about the preliminary stage? I guess what I'm saying in this suggestion is that you is the fourth guy in top four. So say Magnus is number one in the preliminaries, and then like Hikaru number two, and then like you number three, and Ding number four, something like that. Maybe Ding is too solid, and Ding is not going to get enough wins, and might end up on the lower half of the bracket. Yeah, but then some of these guys might end up. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm confused. Maybe this. Yeah, I think what I have come to realize here is that I should be hunting value for these picks because choosing Dubov, Grischuk, or Avronyan for 10 points makes absolutely no sense when the difference in chess ability is not very big between these guys. Judging Yu Yang Yi compared to say Grischuk or say Dubov, it's they're both very strong, and it's going to depend on nerves and having a good day and just making good decisions in the critical situations, which sometimes you make them and sometimes you do not. Ooh, I didn't realize the pairings were out yet, chess fan. Can you let us know who Magnus is playing on the first day? Wei Yi will lose in time scrambles. He's very slow, but He gets 10 extra seconds per move. I think he'll be okay. I'm pretty happy with this selection. Duda is strong. He's very strong. We're gonna go with value in Faruja, Karyakin, Wei Yi, and Yu Yang Yi. I'm moving on. Moving on to the semifinals. Who will be eliminated in the semifinals? Essentially, who is going to qualify to the semifinals? Because I would be very surprised if anyone other than Magnus, Hikaru, and Ding. Yeah. So I'm assuming three of the semifinalists are Magnus, Hikaru, and Ding. And I feel like my best option here is to select players, two players I think has the ability to get into the semifinals. What's the format? It's pretty difficult to explain, Lord Ninja, but I'll give it a go. First, they start out with 3 days of a round robin tournament. 12 players, everyone plays everyone. Um, and then the bottom four players are eliminated after those first 3 days, first 11 rounds. Then, based on the standings in the preliminaries, they go to quarterfinals with the first placed player playing against number eight, and so on and so forth. And then it's quarterfinals, semifinals, final. Actually, it wasn't that complicated to explain. Wasn't your advice for Steinitz to ignore the points? Well, what do I know, Chris? But also, I feel like, yeah, I feel like this might be a little bit different. Because here, you're picking more than one player, so you can basically go hunting for for a value. Because even if you find the three guys giving 10 points as being the most likely, you only need one of your 60-point guys to get in like four available slots for it to be a success. Every day is a chess day for you. Yes, Bedevitan. Pretty much. Have you thought about time differences for players? Ding playing in the middle of the night. Yeah, he is Buhuheim. But Ding impressed me so much in the previous tournament, the Magnus Invitational. So I hold Ding in very, very high regard right now. How many games per match? Oh yeah, that's true. I needed to mention the format for the knockout. So in the quarterfinals and semifinals and final, there's like a tennis system. So there's 4 games per day, and then at the end of the day, it's kind of like a set. Like there's sets in tennis. So 4 games decide a set, and then it's best of 3 sets, essentially meaning that you have to win 2 of the days in order to win your knockout round. So if you win uh, two and a half, 1.5 on day one, and then you lose in Armageddon on day two, and then you win 3-1 on the final day, then you win the match because you have 2-1 in sets. But I think this is a format that's really gonna amplify that the best player prevails. Um, the problem is I'm not sure who the best player is. Other than Magnus, Hikaru, and Ding, I'm not sure who the best guy is. And so even though the format is a bit forgiving in terms of that you can have a bad day and still come back to win the match, um, I find it very difficult to estimate the difference in strength between, um, say, Wesley and Levon and Duda and Yu Yang. Chess.com did it once for one of their tournaments. Yeah, I think someone mentioned that they had done it for the Bullet Championship or something, pushed up pawns. And Magnus has also publicly advocated for this format, I think, since the match he had against Caruana. I think for 2 years already, Magnus has been talking about wanting to do this format, as he feels it's a very fair way to decide the best player. Game theory suggests you need to pick Ferrugia or Karyakin. Well, Lance, I'm all about game theory. I'm all about game theory. I'm not sure I agree with the players you mentioned, but I agree that I should chase value here. Hey, Pong Grubber, how you doing? It's hard for you to imagine that Magnus, Hikaru, or Ding will lose to anyone other than each other. Yeah, me too, GZ. So I'm feeling very, very confident in those guys. But for the rest of the field, it's tricky. Go for Wesley. I don't have a lot of faith in Wesley Archon. And also he's not giving me a lot of points. So he doesn't give good value. Aliheza and Duda, one of them will reach and lose the semifinal. Yeah, but I'm thinking I'm kind of liking Yu Yang Yi. I feel like Yu did so well previously. I'm definitely going for Yu. And then I need to pick one more. And as you say, it's probably between. Actually, I have no idea who it's between. I think it's between Karyakin, Duda, and Furuja. But yeah, this is not maximizing. Actually, it's between Furuja, Duda, Karyakin, and Carlson. Because basically, right now, I'm not trying to guess both semifinal losers. I'm just trying to guess one of them, who is not Ding, Hikaru, or Magnus. Hey, Alvard, how you doing? Carlson Dubov for the final, I find it unlikely. Will Alihesa start improving in this super tournament? Yeah, I think so. I think Alihesa will do well, chess fan. He will be stronger on account of his experience from the previous tournament. Yeah, chess fan, honestly, Magnus is not a bad pick to lose the semifinal. Because he could easily end up in a semifinal against Ding or Naka, in which case, there's definitely a chance for him to get knocked out. Finally, this whole fantasy chess is more of a math task. Well, us chess players, we're all about the math. Oh, I cannot. I'm having a problem that my pad is misbehaving. I guess I'll just put it on my keyboard. Oh, oops. Yeah, we can't really go for a Naka or a Ding because they only give us 10 points. It makes no sense. I think it makes perfect sense, Virtus, because they think Magnus is very unlikely to be eliminated in the semifinal. But yeah, it makes no sense that Hikaru has less points than, say, yeah, I don't know. I think the reason Hikaru and Ding has so few points is because they are the only ones where reasonably confident is going to even be in the semifinals. What results has Karyakin made to even be considered a semifinalist? I mean, I guess he hasn't been great the last couple of years, but he's still an enormous player. He's like In the World Blitz and Rapid, Karyakin is usually one of the guys chasing Magnus till the end. Magnus seems like a solid pick, says GC. Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna do Magnus. Because frankly, if Magnus gets eliminated in the semifinals, that's gonna ruin our TV broadcast. No way I'm jinxing that. Yeah, Virtus, it's because they feel very confident. The players are sorted in the order in which Greg Shahidi, who made this fantasy, they're sorted in the order in which Greg finds it most likely for them to do well. And so the reasoning for Hikaru and Ding having the least points is that they are very likely to make it to the semifinal, whereas for the others to make it to the semifinal is pretty much guesswork. Karyakin has been world champion too. Yeah, but that's in Blitz, right, Eddie? I don't think Karyakin has ever been rapid world champion. Actually, if someone in chat wants to do the research, I would be very interested in knowing the world rapid champions for the last 5 years. Because Magnus has been struggling in the World Rapid Championship. He's dominating in Blitz, but sometimes he's not as focused in Rapid. Is there a way to join the fantasy you're doing now? Yes, there is, Rash. If you ask nicely, someone in chat is going to give you the link to the form we're filling out. When is the deadline? The deadline is the first round. So the deadline is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Oslo time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern. Do you have any stats on how the viewership correlates with Magnus playing or not? Well, the thing is, Marius, we've only. I guess you're asking whether we have less viewers in the breaks when Magnus is not playing. But the viewership is pretty based on pretty even on a day-to-day basis. But we only have one day to compare with for when Magnus was not playing, which is the semifinal between Karana and Nakamura. And viewership for that semifinal was okay. I mean, it was. I think it was more than half the amount of viewers for Magnus's matches, but it was definitely better than we had feared. Not broadcasting Magnus. Could someone please post the link to the fantasy selection again? I'm really sorry I forgot to make a moobot command, but if someone in chat is going to be nice and spam the link, some of our new viewers can get create their teams as well. Ooh, Ravior, thank you so much for the research. Since 2012, the World Rapid Champions have been Karyakin, Mamedyarov, Carlson, Ivanchuk, Anand, Dubov, Carlson. Huh, interesting. Yeah, so Karyakin is pretty good, I think is what we're saying. I'm gonna go with Karyakin. It's a bit of a chicken move going with a household name, but the guy can play chess and he's really solid. And he doesn't he's been out in a high pressure situation before. And he's valued. I think mostly that's it for me. 100 points, there's definite value in going with Karyakin. Let me see who I picked losing the semifinal. I guess logically, based on my selections for the quarterfinal, I should go with Duda for losing the semifinal. But yeah, I don't know how to judge who is better between Duda and Karyakin. They're both amazing chess players. Form is temporary, class is permanent. Lance Black agrees with the Karyakin selection. Yeah, Chucky had a really nice World Rapid Championship one of those years, chess dude. There's this really funny clip of Ivanchuk checkmating Magnus and kind of just like jumping on his chair in excitement. I that may even be the year he won, actually. Rapid is 25 minutes in World Championships. No Bergen. Actually, the time control in this internet tournament is the same as the time control in the World Rapid Championship. It's 15 plus 10 seconds per move. I'm pretty sure that's the same. It might be 20 plus 5, but I think it's 15 plus 10. The thing is that oftentimes it feels a bit slower on the internet because you're capable of making the moves so much faster. But so traditionally in Blitz over the board you play 3 plus 2, but in Blitz on the internet you play 3 plus 0. So in that regard, internet is always often considered being a bit it being easier to play quickly, or that similar time controls, you can kind of subtract a little bit for the internet when it's on the internet. You would go with Duda over Karyakin. Yeah, that's a fair choice, Blue Nos. I think I'm gonna go with Karyakin, but I'm really unsure. I think both selections are good. You do you for your selection. Karyakin has been doing poorly since he had his kid. I'm pretty sure he has more than one kid, Jax. But I also met Galena. She's a nice girl. She'll take care of the kids. Karyakin is going to crush everyone in the tournament. I have faith. Sakari, they're starting tomorrow at 6, Seisen. That's 4 p.m. also time. The broadcast on TV2 starts at 3:30 p.m. 15:30. Geary has a kid. He's basically the same as before. Is that a dig at Geary, rolled Sigs? Geary's still bad, regardless of whether he had a kid or not. Okay, who will finish in second place? Here, we're gonna go with one of these three: Magnus, Hikaru, and Ding. So Magnus is more likely than the two others to get into the semifinal, I would say. So I'm gonna go, given that Magnus has double the chance of Ding and triple the chance of Hikaru in kind of points. I'm definitely gonna go with Magnus in second place. I think that's the way to do it. Because Magnus is more likely to make the final than the others. Oh no, my iPad just started updating my Twitch app. This is very bad timing. I need the app to watch my chat. I don't want this though. I want this. It wasn't a dig against Geary. He's amazing. He's amazing on Instagram, but his play in the previous tournament was it left something to be desired. Thanks, iPad. I got it back now though, Marius. But I did. If you said something in the last 30 seconds, there's a fair chance I missed it. I think Magnus in second place is the right pick because Hikaru and Ding might not even make it. And if either Hikaru or Ding plays a match against Magnus, this essentially means that Hikaru would be a one. If Hikaru can win more often than 75%, no, more often than 25% of the time, then it's a good pick. The thing is, for Magnus, I'm much more scared about Ding than Hikaru. I feel like Magnus has Naka's number still. I would be much more concerned about Magnus winning the final if he was up against Ding than if he was up against Hikaru. Dubov 70 points is great. No, I'm not going with Dubov, but feel free to do it yourself. Sakari. Are we looking for arbitrage? I was looking for your input, yes, Marius. I mean, we think Magnus is going to win it, but here's the other thing. Who do you think will win the tournament? Ding at 75 points versus Magnus at 5. How can I pick Magnus to win the tournament at 5 points? I cannot do it. And I'm not going to go with Hikaru because I think Magnus has Hikaru's number. So essentially, what I'm considering doing here is going with Ding as the winner and Magnus in second place. And claim that while it's unlikely, getting 105 points for that combination is so much better than getting 15 points for Magnus first place, Hikaru second place. Magnus wasn't incredible last tournament. No, he's been horrible with the black pieces. Magnus has been insane with white and horrible with black. And to be fair, you're probably not going to lose a lot of matches as long as you win your white games. Um, but if he messes up a white game and then continues his black form, it's not great. But on the other hand, with this set that you play like 3 matches, the chance of Magnus having 2 bad days in a final is so low. He would have to, it's not like good enough for him to have 1 bad day and tilt. He would need to have 2 bad days not to finish first place. So yeah, Magnus first place is definitely the most likely. Magnus is a huge favorite to win this tournament. But with 5 points for a win and 75 points for Ding, 75 points for Ding. Maybe I go with Ding second place as well. Okay, I think for who will win the tournament, Ding is. I'm not even going to discuss that. It's the correct decision to make. But who will finish in second place? That's a more interesting conversation. Because maybe here I should put Ding as well. Who do you think is the second best combined online blitz player? Well, Rolled 6, I think Hikaru is Hikaru is amazing online. He's amazing at Blitz. I think he's number two. I agree with your assessment. That's one of my favorite phrases, Cotillion. But how do we feel about the second place? Are we going to double up on Ding? Because Magnus to finish second is not a great. Yeah, I think we should be hedging. I think we picked Ding for first place because there's a chance, and 5 against 75 was just too much not to do. But here it's 10 to 30 or 15 to 30. And I don't think I'm going to go with Magnus for second place. For second place, I'm going to hedge for Magnus winning and someone else finishing second. The big question is, do I go for Ding or do I go for Hikaru? And basically, that's going to be decided by who Magnus ends up playing in the semifinal. Because the guy who ends up playing against Magnus in the semifinal is screwed. So I'm gonna go with Hikaru to finish second place, because I think Hikaru is better able to win games than Ding. Actually, this might be wrong. I was thinking Hikaru is more likely to get a good score in the preliminaries, which means like if Magnus is number one from the preliminaries and Hikaru is number two and Ding is number 4, then Ding will end up being in the same bracket as Magnus for the semifinal. So I think in this selection, I want to pick the one who gets the most points in the preliminary phase. And I think that's Hikaru. Kayaking 150 points. Honestly, Archon, given the way we've gone after value previously, there might be an argument to be made for that. But Kayakin he's too solid to get a lot of points in the preliminary stage. So he might end up playing against Magnus. But like someone like Duda, I don't know, who's gonna tear through the field? Maybe we could like go for a Runyon, which is a very strange pick since we haven't really been talking about him previously. But Levon is a very moody player. When he starts winning, he's going to win a lot of games. And then he's going to avoid Magnus in the semifinal. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to beat Hikaru, though. Or Ding. But if he manages to do well in the preliminaries and beat one of those, either Hikaru or Ding, then I could see him finishing second. Why Ding number 4 and not number 3? Well, chess fan, I'm not sure I trust Ding's ability to win a lot of games. He's not very streaky. He's very solid. Who's your favorite in a Ding Nakamura semifinal? Yeah, that's also a good question, chess fan. I guess I would go with. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty 50-50. I think you need to pick the most likely player of the 12 to beat Magnus in that semifinal. Is that what you meant, Lance? The most likely player of the 12 to beat Magnus. I think what you mean is that if someone manages to beat Magnus in a semifinal. Anita gifting 5 subs to the community. Thank you so much, Anita. And the lucky recipients is HH Dude, Moscatel, Eduardo, Bedevitan, and Coffee Attack. Thank you so much, Anita. The start for tomorrow is Carlson Sasha, Carlson Aronyan, Ding Carlson, Carlson Naka. Oh my gosh. That's very cool, Bergen. That's legitimately cool. Pick an outsider, yeah, Lance Black. I think based on the previous fantasy results, especially the one where someone picked Grischuk to finish last place in the Blitz tournament and got like 200 points for that. That was so sick. So making some freaky selections definitely has value. But Levon or Karyakin or you, I don't know. Maybe you. I don't know. I have this thing for you at the moment. Because he did pretty well in the Norway chess tournament as well. He's just had a horrible year and lost all of his rating. So no one thinks he's good anymore, but he did well in the chess.com Nations tournament the other week. Do you think Hikaru will get back to top 10 in classical chess again? No, he will not. I don't think he's interested, to be honest. He's going to continue competing in Rapid and Blitz, though, I think, and he's going to do well there. I have a thing for you too, Hammer. Well, thank you, Nisha. But I'm for the fantasy selection. That's not so important. You know what? I'm gonna be boring. We're gonna put Hikaru for 10 points. I may be an idiot, but I've made so many freaky picks already. I feel like if I'm gonna get value somewhere, I'm already gonna get it elsewhere. Who's gonna finish in second place? Hikaru is a decent choice. Yeah, it's only 10 points, but maybe 10 points is going to be the difference between, winning and getting in 30th place. And then I'm going to regret. We're going to go with Hikaru because we got to move on in life. Because frankly, we already spent so much time. Which color will perform better in the Armageddon games? Do you guys remember that Hikaru said from now on he's going to pick the white pieces, and then he went and chose black pieces after all? I'm kind of tempted going with the white pieces, as I feel like the players have had a change of heart, what they prefer. Are you playing some games today? I was planning to do so, Bergen, but it depends on how quickly we can finish this fantasy selection. At what age do you think level starts lowering at top chess? I don't think it has anything to do about age, Archon. I think it has to do about motivation and stuff like that. We were just talking about who the winners of the World Rapid Championship the last couple of years were, and one of the previous winners was Vasily Ivanchuk, uh, which is he's 45 plus years old, but he still has a huge hunger for the game, and he can perform with the best of them. And Anand to this day, performing in the as a top 10 player in the world. Um, I don't think it's age dependent. No point coming mid-table in this fantasy competition. Win or bust. Yes, Lance, you know it. But to be honest, there's a difference between my team and your guys' team. Because for me it's not only about finishing first or second for the prizes. For me, it's also about being better than Jan Gustafsson. Um, it's I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to be better than Jan. Um, so I have other goals than being the absolute number one. I'm actually going to go with white here. And the reason I'm going to go with the white pieces is that there was Magnus managed to win a game with white. But I think Magnus is mostly going to choose the black pieces in an Armageddon game. However, I'm not sure how many Armageddon games Magnus is going to end up having if he starts playing a bit better than he has the last couple of weeks. But also notice here that white wins if it's tied. So, number one, white gets more points if correct. And if it's like 3-3, who performs better in Armageddon, then white is the one who gets all the points. So I think. And also, the reason that black scored so well in the Armageddon and the Magnus Invitational, most of the games were decided in the first 15 moves. People played horrendously poorly in the Armageddon games. And if they just play a bit more normally, I think we're going to see White utilizing the time advantage to flag the opponent or something like that. Like Magnus flagged Dubov. No, Nepo in their game. So I'm gonna go with white there. How old is Anand? I don't even know anymore, Hal. I think Anand might even be 50 years old, but he's still a superb player. Hey Goldegg, how you doing? Black won 6-4 and Magnus Invitational. Yeah, that's useful information, Chris. Thank you. But I'm going to go with white regardless because I think it's going to be closer this time. In the Magnus Invitational, Black was winning after 15 moves in like 3 games, which is just unreal. Just the people with the white pieces were just playing so horrendously. I don't think we're gonna. I think that was a freak accident. I think it's gonna be much closer this time around. And even though Black may still end up winning it, I think the value in extra points and getting the win if tied is makes White the worthwhile selection. Can you deduce what Jan has picked? I don't care what Jan has picked. I just want more points than him, Marius. Will the championship match be decided in 2 matches or 3? In general, I think the best player will show their strength in each mini match. So in general, I think most matches will be won in 2, with no need for the third and extra day. Um, because if one player is stronger than another, it's gonna be showcased in those 4 games in the mini matches, regardless. Who will be in the studio? It's gonna be for the TV2 studio starting tomorrow. It's gonna be myself, Finn Gnat, and Hansu Lavalalen. Nisha, I don't actually. Magnus. Oh yeah. Oh, the losing with Black in Armageddon. Yeah, I guess I was talking about MVL. He's not here anymore, Nisha. MVL is no longer here to skew the stats for the Armageddon games. Okay, we're moving on to the yes and no challenge. Will anyone force Armageddon? I swear I'm not sick. Ah, no fever, I promise. What would you pick in Armageddon? I don't really know how. I'm fortunate to be too bad to end up in situations um, where I have to play an Armageddon game because those seem really stressful. Thank you, Anita. But you don't have to outswim the shark, only the yawn. Yes, Marius, precisely. Um, I'm gonna go with no. Losing the first two games of a match, then winning the next two. No, that's not gonna happen. Will anyone win a match after losing the first? Okay, so here they're asking if anyone will lose the first set. I think I'm going to refer to it as sets. So a match would be between the two players. A game would be the individual games, and the set would be that four games that counts as one unit, a set. So will anyone win a set after losing? No, will anyone win a match after losing the first set? And he's given extra points if you answer no. So, how many matches are there? There's four quarterfinal matches, four quarterfinal matches. Then there's two semifinals and one final. So, in seven matches, will someone lose the first set and then come back? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're not asking about whether there will be a third game. They're asking whether the third set. They're asking whether the player who lost the first one will win the third set. So essentially, what they're asking is if the stronger player will win, will lose the first set of a match in seven matches, seven attempts. And I am really tempted to answer no. There's seven instances. Will there be a bronze final? No, there will not, Lord Ninja. Hey Krishna, how are you doing? Seven matches. So number one, I don't believe there will be a lot of matches who utilizes the third set. Because I think, given that there are four games per set, the stronger player will win most of the sets anyway. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of third sets. So let's say that there are two or three matches that go into the third set. And then the question is, will the guy say there's two matches who go into the third set, and then the question is, did the stronger player lose the first set or not? We don't really know. But I guess the person who wins set number two has arguably some initiative in the match. But I'm honestly, here's what's happening. I want to say no, and I feel like it feels like the wrong thing to answer, but I'm trying to justify my gut feeling. Even though the gut feeling goes against kind of maybe numbers. But here's what we're going to do. Instead of trying to find a rational argument, I'm going to follow my gut. Because my gut doesn't need arguments, it just has intuition. 5 free points for Jan. Shut up, Nisha. Will White win all four games in any four-game mini match? So this is essentially asking, will Magnus be playing this tournament? Magnus having amazing white scores and horrible black scores. We remember how Magnus's um, mini match, what I'm going to refer to as set, we remember how Magnus had a 2-2 set against Hikaru previously, where White won every single game. And because it happened in the past, I'm sure someone is going to say it happened before, it's going to happen again. But Magnus has promised he's going to play better with the black pieces. So I'm going to go with no on this question. Will anyone play 1B3? So this is the one I said yes last time and no one played B3. And so this time I'm going to say no because I was an idiot to say yes last time around. Will the winner of the preliminary stage also win the tournament? That's a good question. Really good question there. How are we feeling about that? Now Magnus will play 1B3 just to spite me. Well, the thing is, Beneditan, he played so many dumb openings last time around. Um, and he still didn't play B3. And this time, he cannot really play dumb openings like he did in the past, because doing well in the preliminaries is really important. And once the preliminaries are done, then we're over in matches, which by definition is important. What they have done is that I think they realized they had made some mistakes in the format for the Magnus Invitational, where people were pretty much just waiting for the semifinals. That there were too many matches and games that were quite inconsequential. And I think in this format, all games will matter a great deal. I mean, maybe if you're leading by one set and you lead your match, your second set, like 2-1 or like 2-0, that then you will be pretty safe. But other than that, yeah, there's just no time to mess around in this tournament, in this format. Yeah, I'm going against it, chess dude. Will the winner of the preliminary stage also win the tournament? You get more points for saying yes. And by saying yes, you're essentially saying that Magnus is going to win the preliminary stage. And Magnus is the favorite to win the preliminary stage. And he's going to care about doing well in the preliminary stage because he wants to avoid Hikaru in a quarterfinal or even a semifinal, actually. He wants to avoid Hikaru in the semifinal. And maybe he's going to get tricky about it if Hikaru's like number 4, but then if Hikaru's like number 4, then he's never going to be able to really calculate what placement he would like, because then Hikaru's going to be in a pack of players, and Hikaru could end up number 8. He could end up number 2. So Magnus might as well just win in those instances. So there's not going to be like any tactical draw towards the end to make sure you avoid. And also, I don't think he wants to avoid Hikaru. I think he wants to avoid Ding. Because Magnus, he's got Hikaru in his pocket. It was Ding who narrowly knocked Magnus out in the previous one. I'm going to go with the S, I believe. Okay, tiebreaker question. Is this on your screen? Can you see the tiebreaker question? Oh, yeah, you can. Okay, I guess you're going to see all my answers then. What is the longest game in the entire tournament in terms of number of moves? I guess we're going to go with a prime number, as is our norm. And I'm pretty sure 107 is a prime. Wow, I'm actually going lower than you guys. I wonder if that's because we just barely managed to get a single game that was over 100 moves last time around. I'm probably affected by the fact that we didn't see a lot of very long games last time. 116 is definitely not a prime, Marius. Neither is 123. I don't know. Maybe I'm too low. Should we go for like 113? Okay, I'll since you guys are saying numbers a bit higher up, I'm gonna up my selection as well. We'll go to 113. And with that, we have completed the fantasy selections for the Magnus Carlsen Chess Tour. Second tournament, actually. Because the first tournament was already played. It was the Magnus Invitational. Okay. If you guys want to submit your fantasy team, shout out. Let your voice be known in the Twitch chat. I will ask someone to post the link to this competition in Twitch chat right now, so that everyone can participate. And whenever you guys have disagreed with me, know that you can fix my selections because you can make your own. All you need is a Chess24 username to compete in the competition for prizes, a voucher in the Chess24 shop, and for premium members, you can also get a free private lesson with a chess grandmaster. We're gonna move on to phase 2 of this stream, and I'm gonna play some blitz. So send me your blitz challenges, and I will show you how I have made a new layout for for the blitz as well. Mr. Dodgy, I do believe Pascal is coaching chess for an hour, but I hear he's some kind of financial analyst. But I don't think he can advise on that legally, unfortunately. Is this a 24-hour stream? No. We're streaming until Jan Gusti comes on. He's going to do a banter blitz in 40 minutes. So I'm just going to spend the next 40 minutes playing some chess, I thought. Free pirate lesson? Yeah, that too. Private pirate. The tournament starts tomorrow. Yes, FX. So the deadline for submitting your fantasy selection is when the game starts tomorrow. It's in 21 hours and 43 minutes, also known as 4 p.m. European time, 10 a.m. Eastern. Well, actually, Marius, I don't think he can coach you in finance. Part of the contract Chess 24 wanted me to sign, maybe I'm breaching confidentiality right now, but I'm not allowed to give advice on financial investments. Apparently, that can cause legal issues. I can tell you what I have personally invested, but I cannot give advice as such. Prioritizing streaming for us instead of strolling at Briggen, that's real kindness. Yeah, honestly, Marius, that is true. I might head out after, though, find a restaurant or something. I just don't know, I don't know if restaurants still exist at the with these Corona times. Um, but I might go out hunting for dinner. For plausible deniability, it's not a good idea to say I might be breaching confidentiality. Yeah, go figure, Marius. Who would have thought? I have no idea where I'm gonna put this pad so that I'm able to see what you guys are saying. In Holland, you can dine in your own private greenhouse. Well, I want other people to make me food, Chess Dude. So that sounds like a terrible restaurant concept. Spectre, we're doing 3+2 games. Same applies for La Roca. Okay, first up is Unam, and then Eddie. You eat in a private space. Oh, I understand, Chess Dude. Oh, Eddie wants to use his jump the queue, and that kind of coincides nicely with Unam not being ready to play. So, Eddie, you're up. Nice looking board. Is it different than the one I usually use, Marius? Because I feel like my settings should be the same, regardless of whether I play on my laptop or on my desktop. But I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I feel like the colors are different as well, Marius. I just find it strange. Ooh, Eddie is using the Norwegian variation of the Spanish. I was taught what to do here. I don't remember. No, wait, Eddie is doing the Norwegian variation wrong. Because the Norwegian variation, you're supposed to go b5 and knight a5 immediately. Because now when you've included knight f6 and castles, I think I can safely take this pawn in the center. And in the proper Norwegian variation, you cannot do that because of Queen G5. Double attack against the knight and the pawn. Okay, I just stole a pawn in the center. Feels bad, Eddie. Also, I stole more pieces. All the pieces disappearing off the board. Bleach, huh? Virtus. Honestly, I don't remember. But yeah, I felt something was different as well, Marius. I just I couldn't believe that the design would change depending on which computer I played from. That's why I'm doubting my own instincts. And ironically, my computer now thinks this playing chess on the internet is such a big task that it really geared up its CPU usage. I will never understand why Chrome is such a work demanding, CPU demanding program. And as I understand it, there are some computer people who also are not impressed with Chrome's ability to just suck up all of your computing power. You got core temperatures of 70 to 80? No, Marius. I get on this CPU, if I strain it, I get 100 for temperature pretty quickly. I get 100 even with the fans on max. But my theory, but I don't know anything about computers. My theory is that the cores overclock instead of using its buddies. I probably did not use proper computer terminology to explain that, but what I mean is that I got checkmate brewing. Uh, what I mean is that it overclocks instead of using the next core. So instead of using two cores for like 2 gigahertz, it uses the one core for 3 gigahertz, which I think strains or creates extra heat unnecessarily. That's my theory, but having no idea about how computers work, I don't even know why I publicly stated my theory. Other than, I guess I really hope by some miracle I'm right, and then people will think I'm a computing genius. La Roca, we're doing 3+2, so please re-challenge for that time control. The same applies for Yup, and yeah. 100, and you said you didn't have a fever? Well, my computer's health is completely independent of me. I don't think my computer is going to infect me with its fever. Did you see Magnus's reply to Hikaru? Yeah, I saw that. Calling it brilliant is a bit generous, though. But it was funny. It was Magnus's way of congratulating Hikaru while still making sure it didn't feel like a congratulations. I definitely did not mention crypto mining, Marius. But yeah, it gets to 100 if I run the chess computer, the chess engine, or if I run Fortnite. You would check if the thermal paste is okay. Well, the thing is, Marius, I sent the computer back to the people I bought it from and said something is wrong, and they said no, it's fine. And I kind of feel like checking thermal paste would be one of the things they did before giving it back to me. Well, it's not 100 Celsius right now, Gansa. Actually, I could check. Maybe it is 100 now. That would be a bit depressing. Okay, I'm checking the current. I don't know if I can trust this program to give the right temperature though. But it says, oh man. Okay, yeah, it actually does say that the temperature right now, just from streaming and playing chess online, is 96. It's not very good. I'm definitely not happy with my purchase, if there was any doubt. And Marius, I'm pretty sure I went for 113, which I do believe is a prime. No, Arkan, I don't think it's because of a virus. Because it's been this bad for forever. Rosalimo, yeah, I know all the good openings, Bedevitan. If you want to have more Rosalimo in your life, you should get my Chess 24 opening repertoire. It gives the Rosalimo as the recommendation against Sicilian. Use exclamation point video series for more information. Bedevitan. All you need is a Chess 24 premium membership. Oh, Spectre is actually 2500. Because this opening is not 2500 material. Black is suffering right now. I guess he's going to play h6 next. So we can try to prevent that. What processor do you have? I have the i7 580H. 55580H. I don't know. But it's the one everyone hates. I've been Googling the processor and like everyone who has it is like, oh, this is terrible. Don't buy this. Don't make the same mistake we did. And I concur. Do not get the i7 5580H or something like that. I was really liking my position, but I guess it's not clear how I should make progress. I need to get my rook into play. Actually, let's try this. You sure it's Celsius and not Fahrenheit? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Gonzalo. Okay, he played d4. This is the move I wanted him to play. Because now I'm going to put a knight on the c5 square. and his pawn on d4 is going to be separated from the rest of his army, especially this pawn on c6. So I guess the only way he can kind of, I mean, maybe he can try to play c5 now, but I think I'm just going to take it. c5 takes, queen b6. Yeah, no, he's not doing anything to prevent me from putting the knight on c5. And then it's pretty much just game over. All of his pieces are so terrible. Um, you know what? I'm not even going to take his knight. It was pretty tempting, but my bishop here is going to be so good. He has problems with his pawn on a7. I want to play rook a6 next move. Okay, he ran out of time. He only had one square for the queen, queen b5. And frankly, I could even play like knight d3 here, just to prevent all possible counterplay. Yeah, I think knight d3 would have been a nice move, preventing him from playing d3. And as long as this pawn is on d4, yes, it's a passed pawn, but it's actually just a nuisance for black because it's blocking the bishop from having a good diagonal, and it's blocking the rook from influencing the d file. And this pawn on a7 is not running away. I can capture that on the next move. So yeah, this was just superior piece placement in a good illustration of that. Marius, I'll do a screen grab and I'll show you what it says. Because I mean, I do want some help with this issue, but I've kind of just resigned myself to that I made a horrible purchase and I'm gonna have to switch computers more often than I would have liked to. Yeah, I'm guessing my battery time is not good, Marius. But I feel like that's to be expected. Since I'm a chess player, I've never really cared about battery time because I'm always using my power cable when using my chess engines on the laptop and stuff like that. As a chess player, you're used to having very energy consuming tasks, so you always use the power cord. I don't know if Anita is still here, but it's nice of you to thank her, HH dude. And how lucky you were getting a gift sub while AFK. This board is fantastic to look at. I'm glad you like it, Eddie. I'm not sure what I think. Oh, oh. I'm not running Stockfish in the background, I promise. Symmetrical English? Yeah, but it's fine. We can win these. I actually played this opening against the Kajabov once with the black pieces, but I got annihilated. Oh, Adam, it seems like you're saying something interesting, but you're using terminology that I'm not familiar with. It explains why Alec was complaining about the heating in your apartment. You kind of don't need to have heating the way you're just powering through your computers. Yeah, actually, my sister made the same argument recently, Marius. Uh, she was visiting, and I was like telling her that yeah, no, I don't have a lot of. She felt it was very warm in my apartment, and I was like, no, 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 no. I turned off all of the heat, and then she kind of just pointed to my computer, and I'm like, well, I don't really think of that as a heat source. And then she goes, well, it is. And then I go, yeah, I suppose it is. For some reason, I thought that was going to be a nice story, and then it kind of just fell apart. I guess storytelling isn't one of my strong suits just yet. I thought streaming was going to make me a better storyteller, but it can't fix everything, can it? Was Rajabov ever above 2800? I thought Rajabov was famous for being 2799.9, Marius. There's definitely one player who came like 1 point shy of the 2800 threshold and who I think never made it, which is kind of funny as long as you're not that guy. Okay, we're going for the queen trade. And then I want to play d3. I really want to play knight d2. Ooh, knight g5. That's the way. Because I wanted to get my knight to e4. But if I play d3 to play knight d2, he can capture my pawn on c3. So I was considering playing c4, then d3, then knight d2. When I realized, well, if the ultimate goal is just getting the knight to the e4 square, I might as well just start going there immediately. And it helps when Nini, my opponent, is just helping me out, chasing my knight to the square it wanted to go anyway. Okay, I'll check that out, Adam. Okay, somehow black is playing incredibly passively, but holding the position together nonetheless. I think I'm going to play c4 now because I need somewhere to go when he plays f5. Kajabov is currently number 7, like in the world, Marius? That can't be right. Okay, and now we're jumping. This knight is on a bit of a world tour, but it's finding a good location in the end. Hi, Krishna, it might have something to do with the fact that I'm playing against my viewers. It's winning effortlessly is definitely not just player dependent. It also depends on who your opponents are as much as who you are. I'm really happy with this move. Giving up the bishop, yes, but now he has no future for this light squared bishop. And I'm gonna go attack this pawn on c5 next, and he has no way of defending that. I'm really happy with that exchange bishop for knight, but I feel like maybe I should have done it earlier. He must have done something right since he got invited to the candidates. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really an invite. Hajabov qualified to the candidates tournament by winning, I want to say, the World Knockout Championship. What do we call that? FIDE World Cup. But the thing is, you can win the World Cup without winning rating points. In fact, it's reasonably common to do so. There have been plenty of examples of players mainly winning in the tie breaks, thereby making draws against the lower rated players, only to beat them in tie breaks. And in that fashion, they end up losing rating but winning the tournament. Rexer, we're playing 3+2 time control today. So if you re-challenge for that time control, I'll accept you next game. But first, we're doing Schweizerdeutsch. Coming up next, it's Mr. Jan Gustafsson on at the top of the hour. So I'll play a couple of more games, and then if you're hungry to play, you can send a challenge to Mr. Jan. I believe his username is very creative, just like mine. I think his username is Jan. My username is Hammer. Do you know my first username on a chess website? Well, I guess that's not entirely true. But my first username on the Internet Chess Club, which was kind of the first major internet chess experience I had after MSN. Well, the thing is, this story only works because I don't remember my MSN username. So the first username I made myself and that I still remember, I had to qualify that a lot, which kind of ruins the story, but whatever. Was Jon Ludwig. That's the kind of creativity you can expect from children making their chess usernames. Do you know what Magnus's username on the Internet Chess Club was? It was Magnus. Do you think I just copied Magnus and saw, oh, Magnus just put his own name? Should I do the same? Unfortunately, I strongly suspect that was the source inspiration for me. But usernames are difficult. MSN Chess, the best of times. Yeah. Two things I remember about MSN Chess is that one opponent I asked, do you want to play? And my opponent answered, sure. And in Norwegian, sure kind of resembles the word sur, which means upset or grumpy or something to that effect. So, me not being a huge English speaker at that time, despite living in the US, um, I had to go get my dad and ask, oh, this guy, I think he's upset with me for some reason. And then it turns out, no, he just wanted to play chess. Ooh, I'm very tempted to do something crazy here. I'm not even going to calculate it. I'm so confident it works. Guess what your name on ICC was? I'm guessing it was Mr. Dodgy. Mr. Dodgy. I have faith in your lack of creativity. Oh my god, I'm so good. Do you guys realize how quickly I saw this tactic? Sometimes I amaze myself with my chess playing abilities. A rook sacrifice. And, you know, there's a lot of options still. But I have faith right now that somehow this is gonna work out for White. Kids nowadays are more creative. I mean, they still mimic each other though, Hiata man. Like in Fortnite, there's a lot of kids just putting fishy after their name because then they kind of sound like Benji Fishy, who's one of the best players. And then there's some people putting two R's at the end of their username for a reason I have yet to understand. And yeah, they're still kind of mimicking their heroes. But I guess the sad part of that story is that my hero at age 11 was Magnus, a 10-year-old kid. Imagine when you're 11 years old and your hero is a 10-year-old who you've personally beaten up on several occasions. This is another thing. Who expected Magnus to become taller than me? Let me assure you that no one in the Norwegian chess scene when we were young thought Magnus was going to be taller than me. That is a true crime. He was this tiny little boy. Tiny. And now he's taller than me. The world is not fair. Yoon being crazy? What is this? I don't know, Eddie. I'm away from home, you know. I'm away from my usual environment, and it makes you do strange things. Oh, you're talking about on the chessboard? Yeah, no, I'm being crazy both in what I'm saying and what I'm doing on the board. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that I have given up a rook for questionable reasons. I'm starting to think I should have made some calculations before giving away all my pieces. Okay, it's fine. I caught him. I trapped him. Man, I'm actually still happy with that because even if the sacrifice wasn't correct, honestly, that just makes the sacrifice cooler. If you knew it was good all along, it wasn't really a sacrifice, was it? So it not being objectively correct just makes it even better. I'm very happy with this game. That was such a cool sacrifice, and I was pretty much chatting with you guys as I did it. Just, I caught a glance. You sacrificed logic? No, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Box in a Cage, but if you're referring to a sacrifice being cooler if it's wrong, there's definitely a logic to that. Because in chess, a truth exists for all positions, right? So calling something a sacrifice if you know with yourself that you're gonna get it back with interests in a couple of moves, then it's not really a sacrifice, is it? It's more of a flashy move, but you haven't sacrificed anything because you know that it's in your favor um, in all variations. But regardless, that was a really cool, what we like to refer to as sacrifice, and the guy defended pretty well because it wasn't easy to justify, but he was under so much pressure, and that's the thing about sacrifices. You do them to put pressure on your opponent. If you're black, could you have defended that? Maybe not, Krishna. It was a really tricky situation for him. Will we see a new reckless hammer? I find that unlikely, Drunk Chess. But on stream, I do try to play spectacularly when I can. And this was one such occasion. It was the best move, great instinct. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, no, it felt right. It felt right. Working inside a machine room today, yeah, Shatan. I'm traveling. I'm in Bergen because I'm doing commentary for the Magnus tournaments coming up this week. And since I'm not at home, I don't have my desktop, and my laptop is not a big fan of streaming. So the fan is, well, it's not a big fan of streaming. I should have chosen a different word. But the laptop fan is very noisy when I stream. And it's a big fan, all right. Yeah, is it really that annoying? That's too bad. I've tried streaming with this laptop before, but then I've been using a more directional microphone. And this time I thought I'll bring my webcam and use it as a microphone as well. And so I suspect it picks up on more sound than the travel microphone I've used in the past. But yeah, I'm trying to travel lightly, and that doesn't allow for filling my bags with computer equipment. Spices up the conversation. Wow. Look at Marius being positive. And look at the Dark Knight going down. That's a big pawn to lose, especially since I'm putting pressure on the knight. And the knight is a very important piece because it's supposed to give protection to the black rook. And the house of cards is collapsing. And black is going down, which means we'll have time for one final game before leaving this show to Mr. Jan Gustafsson. Hey Jackster, how you doing? The tournament happens in Bergen, kind of Hannibal, because we're doing commentary from the TV2 headquarters in Bergen, but the players are playing from home. I mean, it's special times, so because of the coronavirus. Um, okay, so if bishop takes, rook takes, checkmate. I guess that's best. So actually, he ends up not losing the bishop because he can recapture the bishop. But then we have the back rank mate, which he saw, which is why he resigned. Okay, last game of the day is Dorf Trottel. Dorf Trottel. Last game of the day. And if you haven't gotten a game against me and you're looking to play, you can challenge Mr. Jan Gustafsson, who is continuing this banter blitz in just a couple of minutes. Hey Fesha, how are you doing? It's on a specific frequency, so you can probably have some software help noise cancel it if you care so much. That's interesting, Box in the Cage. I guess the answer is I don't really care that much since I try to avoid streaming when traveling. I just really wanted to showcase the fantasy chess contest for Chess 24 for the tournament starting tomorrow. So this is the first time I'm streaming while traveling in a year, I suspect. Maybe it's actually the first time I'm streaming while traveling since January 2019. I can't think of an occasion before that. So A3 early. I have seen this in the past. It's not silly. It's definitely less silly than it looks. I think the way to go is playing the fianchetto. A3, what move is that? It's generally a pretty useful move in these Queen's Gambit openings. Um, but normally you put your knight to C3 first. Ooh, Marius, giving a shout out to the Discord channel. For those of you who joined in on the fantasy action, make sure to join the Discord so that you can brag about how well you're doing. So we have a separate channel on our Discord for fantasy chess, and that is the correct location to boast about your fantasy picks. And the link to Discord is in chat as well. What do you do against knight e5 in these positions? I would just ignore it, box in the cage. I would continue my plan of expanding on the queen side. Bye, Bergen. Oh, I missed you. Have you ever played with Finn? Does he play at all? No, Marius. I've never played with Finn. Rumor has it he does know the rules, but I have not been able to verify. I played with the Higina though. Finn is more of a quiz guy. I hear he goes to the quiz, um, the local weekly quiz thingy at the cafe by the theater. I forget what it's called. Feels like Finn is getting better and better. Yeah, it's difficult to tell. But I would think the more chess broadcasts we have, the more experience he gets, and at the very least, the better he gets at faking knowledge, which is good enough, frankly, in a media setting. Uh, A. McDonald coming in with 100 bits. Thank you so much. Good night, Eddie. Yeah, I definitely misplayed this. Suddenly, white is getting the bishop pair. Shame on me. Well, he's definitely still mostly going after the computer evaluations, Marius, but to be fair, as am I. I mean, especially in the blitz chess, they move so quickly, it's impossible to really be able to understand everything that's happening unless you look at the computer. Yeah, I'm getting annihilated actually. I'm getting completely destroyed. This isn't even fun anymore. I suddenly realized knight d7 is a threat. Yeah, but now bishop d6. Yeah, actually, giving up the exchange might work in my favor because at least then I get some counter chances. CJ coming in with the 100 bits. Thank you, CJ. If we get rid of this knight, that's going to improve our chances. I'm considering doing something crazy-ish. Wow, he's offering a draw. I definitely should accept a draw offer. But whenever someone offers a draw, I get very well, not whenever, but when I'm clearly losing, someone offers a draw. It's like if they have no faith in their own ability to win this, I might as well continue, you know? And here we managed to take that bishop, so we ended up avoiding losing the exchange. The draw offer was a mistake. He made me think that he didn't know what he was doing. He made me ambitious with that draw offer. Hackner coming in with the 13-month resub. Thank you, Hackner. Okay, we're gonna try to hide our king in the corner and then see what happens. Now I can push my pawns. Oh man, is it nice to be good at chess? 4 seconds I spent. 4 seconds I took to play e5. Oh man, I love being good at chess. It's just superior to not being good at chess. Oh, no worries at all. Tasty. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was, I really enjoyed that one. I thought about capturing this rook, but then the knight takes back. And, probably I'm still doing very well here. Because his knight gets on a file where it's dependent on the rook, and this causes a lot of problems for white. So actually, I guess this e5 move wasn't actually necessary, but boy was it sweet. Rook takes, and I just take back with my queen, giving up a queen for a rook, but the idea is that there's no way to stop this checkmate and protecting the queen at the same time. Oh my, I'm so happy we got that game to finish off the stream. That's the kind of game that makes you feel good. Did it in style. Yeah, I agree, Krishna. I'm very happy with that finish. That was amazing. I had two really nice moves this stream. The bishop takes g7. I sacrificed a whole rook without really calculating it, just trusting my instincts. And here the e5 move I did in 4 seconds, and I calculated it really quickly and also trusted my instinct, giving up the queen like that. That was a nice finish to the stream. So remember, everyone, I'll be doing commentary on TV2. Well, that's mostly for the Nordic audiences, I guess. For Norwegians, it's available on TV2 or TV2 Sumo fra 15:30. For you speaking people, you may want to take a look at the Chess 24 broadcast. The rounds start at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Magnus has an amazing first day facing Hikaru and Ding and Gristruk, and it was insane the four games he had on the very first day. So that's something to look forward to. We're gonna be rating Mr. Jan Gustafsson. We're rating the Chess 24 channel because he's doing a banter blitz now as well. And Jan, for once in his life, he's gonna be streaming for 3 hours. So there's plenty of time to get a game against him if you haven't already. Thank you everyone for watching me. I'll be back probably on the rest day of this Magnus tournament. So I suspect I'll be back something like Saturday and Monday. But for instance, you can follow me on Twitter, check out our Discord to stay updated and get notifications when I go live. Thank you everyone for watching. How do I send the raid? Is a good question. Are you guys leaving me now? I'm not sure I managed to do the raid on my pad. I'm gonna do it on my computer instead. Bear with me. If you want the channel points. If you don't want the channel points, you can just go straight to the... Oh yeah, we are raiding. In 3 seconds, 2 seconds. I'm leaving. Bye.